You know that feeling, right? There's just way too much to read and never ever enough time. Well, today, we're going to break down how AI is becoming this super fast research assistant and totally changing how we all get to the point. Let's dive right in.
I mean, let's be real, nobody has the time or, frankly, the patience to read a 200-page legal document or to dig through a mountain of research papers just for that one key piece of information. But you know what does? AI. And it does it in about 4 seconds. It can chew through that entire document and spit out the highlights in less time than it takes you to decide what to watch next. This isn't just a little bit faster, this is a total game changer. Okay, so the best way to wrap your head around this is to imagine you have this incredibly smart friend who's also a ridiculously fast reader. You can hand them anything, a dense report, a long contract. They read the whole thing, and then over lunch, they just give you the perfect highlights. It's like having a cheat code for information overload. So how exactly does this super fast friend of yours read and figure out what's actually important? Well, it basically comes down to two different methods. Let's break them down. The first way is what's called extractive. Think of this one as the highlighter. It literally goes through and pulls out the most important sentences, word for word, right from the text. Then you have the abstractive method, which is more of the storyteller. This one reads everything, truly understands the main ideas, and then tells you the story in its own words, kind of like a person would. So when do you use each one? Well, the highlighter method is perfect for stuff where the exact wording is critical. Think legal reports or contract drafts. You need that word-for-word accuracy. But if you're looking at, say, customer feedback or a bunch of news articles, you want the storyteller because it gives you a much more natural, easy-to-read summary. But it's not just about how this AI friend reads. What's truly mind-blowing is how much it can hold in its memory all at once. This is what really unlocks its power. The term you'll hear thrown around is context window. The simplest way to think about it is as the AI's short-term memory. It's how much info the model can keep in its head at one time while it's working on your request. The bigger the context window, the more it can remember without getting confused. So just how big is this memory getting? Well, models like Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro are now working with context windows of up to 2 million tokens. That number is it's staggering, and it's completely changing what these tools are capable of. To put 2 million tokens into perspective for you, we're talking about the AI processing around 1.5 million words. At the same time, that's like reading 15 full-length novels or a 5,000-page report in a single pass, without ever forgetting what happened in Chapter 1. And this isn't some one-off science project. These massive context windows are becoming the new standard. All the big players, Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, they're all pushing for bigger and bigger memories, making this insane power more and more common. Okay, I know, a super fast reader with a nearly perfect memory, it sounds almost too good to be true, right? Well, just like any friend, this one isn't perfect. It's got some quirks you absolutely have to know about. So, what's the catch? Because honestly, knowing the limitations is just as important as knowing what it can do. Here's the biggest one. AI can be convincingly wrong. It might miss some really critical nuance or completely misunderstand the context. Sometimes it misses that one tiny detail that actually changes the meaning of everything. And of course, the summary is only ever as good as the original document. Garbage in, garbage out. And that's exactly why you can't just set it and forget it. The smartest way to use this is to treat any AI summary as a really intelligent first draft. It does like 90% of the heavy lifting for you, but you still need an expert, a human in the loop, to do that final review, check the facts, and add that layer of real critical thinking. So, keeping that very important catch in mind, let's look at how this imperfect but still brilliant friend is already changing the game in all sorts of industries. This isn't science fiction, it's happening right now. In the legal world, it's cutting down case prep time by over 20 hours for a single case. In medicine, doctors are getting instant summaries of a patient's entire medical history right before an appointment. Accountants are using it to automatically flag weird transactions. And researchers, they're summarizing thousands of academic papers in the time it used to take to read just a few.
And let's just zoom in on that legal example for a second. Legal pros who use these AI tools say their document review process is 63% faster. That is a huge deal. It frees them up to actually think and strategize instead of just sifting through paperwork.
So the biggest thing to take away here is that this isn't about replacing human experts. It's about removing the soul-crushing admin work. This technology is already being used by lawyers, doctors, and researchers every single day. It's a tool that's here to stay.
And that kind of leaves us with this really big, fascinating question for the future, right? As AI gets even better at understanding and connecting mountains of information, what is it even going to mean to be a human expert? Maybe it'll be less about what you know and more about knowing the right questions to ask. It's something we're all going to be figuring out together.